Underhells Campaign. Game 2. Delaque Incursion Gang vs Genestealer Cults. Welcome back to the Underhells campaign. After an introductory multiplayer battle, we finally start the regular campaign cycle. Each gang has an opportunity to issue one challenge, starting with a random order of gangs in the first cycle. This arrangement pits House Delaque, Will of the Old One, winner of the previous mission, to challenge Licorice, the Genestealer Cult's gang. Some gangers were already acquainted in the previous mission, however, much more powerful characters will join the fight, as we are playing Escape the Zone, an Ash Wastes rolling road mission. Not only champions and leaders of both gangs will fight, but vehicles and mounted fighters will join as well. The mission finds two gangs that have already crossed over the dust wall have a chance encounter in the ruins of one of the habs. A quick and bloody firefight ensues, with both gangs realizing that this zone is infested by the malstrain corrupted inhabitants. They must quickly dispatch the opposition and leave the treacherous area. For the Ash Wastes conditions, we roll ancient roads, which helps vehicles to move quicker on the road. Clear skies guarantee no other effects, besides visibility 18" as per campaign rules, are in play. First we take a look at a Genestealer Cult gang Licorice. As a malstrain aligned gang it fields a lodge, a cult alpha with two last pistols and an auto pistol. Two champions, one with hand flamer and the other with grenade launcher and psychic familiar. Strong melee presence is guaranteed by Aberrant Beaten, equipped with two fighting knives. Another deadly template weapon, a web gun, is in possession of Walter. The rest are two regular fighters. Joseph carries autogun, while Bersic hopes to use his bike to be in a position to burn some enemies with incendiary charge. The last, but not least, is a rock grinder, equipped with deadly twin-linked autocannon. Delaques are led by Aura Spira named Cosm, of House Tai. Two champions are Nactgull with Shiver Sword and an auto pistol, and Phantom, with two flechette pistols. Four gangers Delaque decided to use two Psygeists, one with Penumbral Mirror, the other with Spatial Psychosis. Gang list also has a Ghost Specialist with a long rifle and a Ghost equipped with just an auto pistol. Rest of the gang is Abyssal Ferryman team, Skipper with Corrupted Bolter and Righand with Combat Shotgun. As for a Ferryman vehicle, a custom rig with mining laser and transport bed has been chosen. As per mission rules, both gangs alternate deploying one of their fighters, at least 6 inches away from enemies and within 18 inches of trailing edge. This will provide an interesting but also very hectic beginning of the game. Delaques start by deploying their vehicle on the left side of the road, at the max distance of 18" from the edge. Psygeist Hypnose is deployed next, hoping to maybe trip somebody with his Spatial Psychosis before running away. However, he quickly becomes very separated from the rest of his gang when Rock Grinder, with a couple of gangers, is deployed on the other side of ruins, cutting him off from support of his own vehicle. Most Delaques are deployed next to the toxic tower building, maybe the thing responsible for spreading malstrain corruption in the zone, with Champion Avash on the lowest level, while Detlaf, Abyssal Ferryman Skipper, controls the situation from the top level. Genestealer cultists deploy in the second line, just behind Delaques, and closer to the ever-moving battlefield edge in the rolling road mission. Avash is being stalked by Aberrant Beaten and has a grenade launcher pointed at him by the champion situated next to him. On the other side of the toxic tower building, another champion, deployed from Infiltrate, will try to cut him off by advancing and burning him with a hand flamer. In the middle, next to the rock grinder, a slew of cultists gather. Leading them is Cult Alpha, but the most dangerous among them seems to be Walter with a web gun. To counter this deployment, thanks to a gang tactic, 3 Delaques could be deployed from the Infiltrate. After long deliberation, 2 of them, Sniper Rifle Specialist and Ghost with auto pistol, as a bodyguard, deploy on the second floor of the ruined building in the middle. The third choice was Oris Leader, who deployed to support Lonely Hypnose. With careful deployment he should be safe from the initial activations of gangers gathered around Rock Grinder, and with a little bit of help he could try stopping all of them. The fight starts with Licorice getting priority, and without much of a surprise Alodge uses his 3 arms to point 3 pistols at an exposed Psygeist. But only serious injury is scored and Hypnose hangs by a thread. Using this distraction, on the other side of the map, Avash can try to make some space between him and the incoming mountain of muscles. But his activation is interrupted by an overwatch shot from a grenade launcher, which, however, misses. Uvash shoots Beaton with toxic rounds, pinning him, but not scoring any damage. He runs forwards and turns around to face incoming enemies. Second activation from cultists follows suit of successful actions. Bursik revs his dirt bike and drives close to the back of Delaque vehicle, housing Michaelash and Righand Bergen. Incendiary grenade throw is successful. Both fighters catch fire. Michaelash even falls down with serious injury from the initial explosion. Custom Rig tries to protect both burning fighters from further punishment, drives forward and performs a new turn, shooting a mining laser into the enemy vehicle, but misses. Rock Grinder doesn't hesitate to shoot back, scoring 3 hits from rapid fire, but the only damage that went through was saved by a roll of 6. Both fighters on the rig manage to fail roll on removing blazes and will continue to burn into the second turn. Malstrain horrors in this mission start appearing from the first round, and even a single Tyrannite proved to be quite a headache to deal with. During his activation, he flew exactly beneath the Delaque sniper, but Xenorth keeps level-headed and aims his long rifle at Karlik, who is close to ambushing Uvash with his hand flamer. Hit is scored with no damage, but, most importantly, the infiltrating champion is pinned. He just gets up and moves a bit closer to the enemies. The Tyrannite problem is solved later in the turn when Cypher goes around and kills it with an auto pistol. Last activation from Genestealer cultists in turn 1 was Walter, who catches seriously injured Hypnos in web. This prompts Cosm to finally appear in the fight. His double activation was not that successful, however. He moves closer to Fallen Ganger to help him during recovery rolls and opens up with both bolt launchers on Alodges. But besides pinning the enemy leader, no damage is done, mesh armor holding strong. For his second activation, Aura Spira changes targets. He needs to eliminate the threat of web guns, so he aims and shoots. No kill was made, but serious injury and 2 flesh wounds means that the threat is at least stopped for now. Second turn sees 2 more Tyranites appearing, from the same spot as in the first turn, and threatening a building occupied by 2 Delaques in the middle of the board. First player activation is a Brood Scum, thanks to a territory held by Genestealers. 1 Brood Scum joined for this fight. With just 1 goal in mind, he charges, finishing off still seriously injured Hypnos. Cosm responds and shoots him almost point blank, scoring a serious injury, and retreats back behind the building. On the other side of the board, Uvash continues retreating from Bernard. But another salvo of twins guns blazing with toxin rounds score a few of injury rolls, and an out-of-action result is rolled. Aberrant fate will be decided at the post-battle step, as a lasting injury results in him being potentially captured by the enemies. Cypher decides to jump down, with a successful initiative test, and help Uvash with the pressure coming from Genestealer cultists. His auto-pistol shot rolls a couple of rapid-fire hits, and he manages to seriously injure the enemy champion. Not all is lost, however, as Pieter loads a crack grenade and blasts Xenorth off the building, and out of the mission, with a well-placed explosion. In the middle of the board, duel between the vehicles and mounted fighters continues. This time Delac's side can count it as a win. Rock Grinder rolls 2 ones, trying to re-roll using tactic Lucky Shot, when firing from autocannon. Delaque crew responds by targeting Bursik, a cultist biker. The beam from mining laser hits him square in the chest, taking him out of action, and giving him impressive scars in the process. Both fighters on the transport bed also manage to take out the flames, the squat Righand falling off the vehicle and running head first into the wall. Michaelash still lies seriously injured at the back of the vehicle. Not having much to do, Cosm uses his second action to finish off seriously injured Brood Scum and move closer to the middle of the board, trying to support his vehicle in the next turn. Leader of Licorice had the same idea and moved in the middle, leaving seriously injured Walter behind. In the end phase, this spells doom for the specialist, as he bleeds out and rolls a critical injury. In the next turn, a building previously occupied by Delaques is completely overrun by Tyranites, as 3 of them spawn on the first level of the building. Both Squat Skipper and Uvash take out 1 each, but the rest manage to reach some of the fighters, not scoring any toxin damage, however. A pair of Delaques manage to squash one in melee with their bare hands. In the middle of the board, a fierce firefight ensues. First, Cosm adjusts slightly next to crates and shoots a salvo at exposed alloges. Enough damage is done and alloges falls to the ground critically wounded. Joseph, situated at the back of Rock Grinder, aims and shoots at one of the Abyssal Ferryman and seriously injures him, turning off his potential credit gain from his cred sniffer. Cypher continues scoring many hits with his auto pistol, this time finishing off Karlik. Hobbled is rolled, meaning not only Karlik will miss next mission in recovery, but also his already low movement of 4 is dropped down to 3. Champion Pieter, after spending his last turn aiming and shooting, is left behind and is swallowed by the moving edge of the map, resulting in him getting a set of impressive scars. Michaelash finally bleeds out at the back of the vehicle, never recovering from the initial incendiary grenade. However, the situation is pretty straightforward for Delaque now, removing all the dangerous fighters and weapons from the enemies. Nactgull appears behind some crates to cut off an enemy vehicle going backwards, while Cosm assists friendly custom rig, which was ambushed by 2 Tyramites. Cosm manages to shoot and finish off Joseph, prompting a quick retreat by Genestealer Cults. Victory for Delaque. Mission summary. Delaque managed to win 3 exploration points, 2 for winning, 1 for having 4 or more fighters at the end, 2 reputation, and gain 100 credits from territory, and thanks to help from Whisper Merchant. Bad trading post roll means, however, that they can only buy common items. Luckily, no lasting injuries were gained by the gang. The same cannot be said by Genestealers, however. We start with a long list of lasting injuries. 2 fighters, leader and specialist, have been critically wounded. Hanger-on Rogue Doc managed to fix a lodge, gaining him humiliated as a side effect. The only champion that was able to perform post-battle actions tried to go to Rogue Doc with the other seriously injured fighter, but the price, with a tax of additional cost by being a Genestealer, means that the specialist is dead. Karlik gained Hobbled, and while Aberrant was initially captured by the enemy, a quick trade was made, returning the mutant back to the owners. In the end, Genestealer Cults managed to get 1 exploration point, 60 credits, immediately spending 30 on buying back the fighter. In our campaigns, we always nominate the most valuable player, bonus D3 experience points, and the least valuable player, bonus consolation of 1 experience point, for each gang. For this mission, nomination for most valuable player went to Oris leader Cosm, for killing 3 enemy fighters and single-handedly sorting 1 flank of the combat. On the Genestealer Cult side, nomination went to Bersic, who, with a single grenade throw, managed to turn off 2 fighters for the entire game. As for the least valuable players, for Delaque we have Michaelash, Psygeist, who never recovered from being hit by Bersic's grenade and not doing anything whole game, and crew of the Rock Grinder, who didn't manage to score any meaningful hits even though they had the most dangerous weapon between both gangs. Delaque continue to stay on the top of the score table, having won both of their missions so far. In the next challenge we will have the Goliath's Combinat of Burning Fury pitted against corrupted Esches malstrain Incarnata, in the very same scenario as today, escape the zone. Will the Escher cutters prove too fast to be caught by dirt bikes of Goliath? Who will win in the melee? Malstrain Genestealer or Gene-enhanced human? Find out in the next video on the channel.